My name's Paul, welcome to Paul Perambulates. In this episode I'm in South Wales at the eastern end of the Brecon Beacons on the Black Mountains. The start point is Pwll Y Wrach Nature Reserve, postcode LD30DT, grid reference SO16193280. What three words? Lordship, melon, crows. I follow this route clockwise, first of all going through the nature reserve, then across countryside to the foot of the Black Mountains. I ascend via Cwm Cwnstab and then take the Cambrian Way to the highest point of the Black Mountains, Waun Fach. Then I turn back and turn down Y Grib, the ridge, and at the bottom meet the Three Rivers Ride, which takes me back across countryside to the nature reserve. Total distance 17.5 kilometres, total height gain 750 metres, total time calculated at 4 kilometres per hour with 1 minute added for every 10 metres of height gain, 5 hours 38 minutes. The car park is extremely small. You could get one more in there next to me, another one over there, maybe two if you were together and parked in one behind the other. It is free though, which is everyone's favourite price, but I think it's probably worth planning to get here nice and early. Let's go! Very pleasant start to the walk. It's a very hot sunny day today, but I'm completely in shade because I'm in this beautiful woodland glade here. Paths now come down to meet the river. You can hear that bubbling away in the background. Lovely summer scene. First waterfall you come to, two of them in fact, falling about 10-15 metres. Absolutely beautiful, and the sound very therapeutic. Could stop and listen to that for a while. Right down close to the bottom of those falls now, getting the full effect of the water rushing by. Wonderful sound. At the time I'm here, July 2022, some of the paths are restricted, and it's because of ash dieback, unfortunately, affecting the trees. So we have to respect that and go on the paths that are still open. Saw a couple of dog walkers on the way down to the first waterfall. Haven't seen anyone since, and the paths are a little bit more overgrown and less well used. So it tells me that the far end of the nature reserve is less visited than the near end. We're at the very far end of the nature reserve now. The waterfall here might more accurately be described as a weir. It does have this curiosity as well, something more rarely seen these days. Now we're out of the woodlands, we get our first clear view of our big objective for the day, the Black Mountains. On the map, this bridleway shows with a boundary either side. The boundary is actually a screen of trees, which in this very hot weather provides some rather delightful shade. It's all very picturesque and pleasant. Now I'm out onto higher, more open ground. Great views of the mountains. Pennyvan and Cribbin over there in the distance. Then coming round to the much closer Black Mountains. We've now come out into Waun Fach, small triangular area of access land on the way to the foot of the mountains. Coming to the end of Waun Fach, there are a couple of cars parked here, and it strikes me that their owners are probably doing a shorter walk than me, a straight ascent of Waun Fach from the north side. And this is access land, so you can obviously park here. It's right by a road, which I've just crossed. So, top tip for anyone wanting to do the shorter version. It's going to start to get steep in a moment, so time for a quick coffee first. Cheers. We've come up round the corner into Cwm Cwnstab now. So now that we've come around the outcrop, it opens up views to the east. And what we're mainly looking at here is England, because the English border is not very far past that last outcrop there. Fantastic views of rolling countryside, both English and Welsh. Something to see overhead too, gliders and their tow planes. Just emerging onto the summit plateau now. Looking around, still got a little bit further up to go. So that's the view down Cwm Cwnstab, the valley I've just come up. However, you look around up here, everywhere else, not much of a view at all really. Trouble with Waun Fach is its top is very wide, very flat. So the edges of the top, as it were, tend to obscure the countryside around. And you can't see a lot, certainly from this point. However, we're not right at the top yet. Heading for it now, so we can hope for better views from up there. I was going to have my lunch around about this point, but I want a view to look at while I'm eating it. So we'll get to the very top and see what it looks like. I think this lady's already got the best spot. I've got the gliders and their tow planes to entertain me anyway. You may be able to see them just in the background here. Quite a lot of them. There must be loads of really good thermals for the gliders to gain height, so there's loads of them out today. Keep getting these planes going overhead towing them. We're just coming up to a cairn that looks like it might be the top, but as we get to it we can see the actual top rising up behind it. This cairn marks Penny Manllwyn, and we can see the actual top in the distance there. Not that much further to go now. Heading for the final climb to the top now, along the Cambrian Way bridle path. There are a few people up there, that's not surprising. Waun Fach is the highest top in the Black Mountains. It's a Saturday in summer, the weather's beautiful, so we can expect to see a few people. Could be an awful lot worse. We could be at the top of Snowdon queuing for an hour to get a photo at the summit. Nice stone path as we get towards the top. This of course doesn't happen by accident. We can see where some of the work's going on here. Big bags of stones. And this is how we get this to make our ascent that much easier. So huge thanks to whoever provides that. And coming into view now, this is the top. We have arrived at the top of Waun Fach. Top of Waun Fach, 810 metres. No worries. This is all there is at the top of Waun Fach. There's a standing stone over there, a very small one, surrounded by some other rocks. And then there's this large squarish stone. I'm wondering if OS is Ordnance Survey, could easily be. But as far as I can see, this marks the very top. I'm at the highest point in the Black Mountains, currently looking directly at the highest point on the Black Mountain. That's right, at one end of the Brecon Beacons you have the Black Mountains, and at the other end you have the Black Mountain. And that's it in the middle of this shot. And then coming round, Van Far, Penny Van Gribben, and then a great view over the central beacons. And then we can start to see the local peaks, the Black Mountains, Gerikach, Penachmar, Sugarloaf, and the nearest one, Penny Far. Away to the north and east, rolling farmland of Wales, and of course England. It's not just the gliders making use of the thermals today. Shimmering in the hazy distance, the highest point of the Bannau Brycheiniog, Penny Van. From the top here I can get a really good view of my planned route down. Y Grib, the ridge. Nice, gentle, undulating, descending slope down off the hill. Now walking down Y Grib, the ridge, and the views remain fantastic. Obviously going downhill you're looking at them all the time and you're not totally out of breath, so you appreciate them a bit more. Having dropped down I can't get a 360 view anymore, but on the plus side I'm on a steeper side of the hill, so the views I do get are that much better. This is why we go walking in the hills. Come up on a little top and then look around, and it's just all laid out in front of you. Part way down Y Grib, this cairn, in quite a nice spot. I don't think it's the one on the map, but it's in a lovely place, and it is king of all it surveys. Looking back up at it, looks even more impressive. This part of the ridge looks a bit precipitous, and it is really. So we can see the path down. Going to be a little bit of use of hands required, I suspect. Very rocky way down. A little bit steep down that side. Falls away quite dramatically from the path, so going to have to just be a little bit careful with feet placement. Near the top of that hill, stone shelter, and then beyond it, an Iron Age hill fort, Castell Dinas. As I'm dropping down off the end of the ridge, I have Castell Dinas right in front of me. Down off the hill now, I'm following a bridleway, the Three Rivers Ride. It is actually a road on the map, however it's Saturday tea time, middle of summer, beautiful weather, and I haven't seen any vehicles yet. So I'm assuming that it is usually quite quiet and safe to walk down. As the bridleway goes on, however, it takes a more sinister turn. Turns into a sort of cross between an extremely rocky path and a stream. Now this is in the middle of summer, so it's passable with care. I would imagine that there's no way you'd be able to get along here in the winter. I imagine it'd be a flowing torrent. So maybe we might want to give this part of the route a miss and try and go around. At the end of the day, I'm back at the waterfalls again. Couldn't really miss it, although it's very fast. That's the Pwll Y Wrach Nature Reserve and Waun Fach walk done. I'm giving that a difficulty rating of 6. I toyed with 5. It has height gain of 750 metres, so that's why I've given it a 6. I have to say, it didn't really feel like 750 metres at the time. The waterfalls end of the walk was nice. However, the far end of the nature reserve is closed at the time I've come, so that sort of took the edge off that a little bit. The Black Mountains part of it is really spectacular, much more than I was expecting. This route was actually given to me by somebody else, and it's often the way that somebody else will choose a route that's far more interesting than one that you'll plan yourself. The walk up, really scenic, and the ridge walk down gave me some absolutely spectacular views, so I would totally recommend those. If I was going to ask a question, it's the bits in between. You really need to have your micro nav head on to get from the nature reserve over to the Black Mountains and back again. There are plenty of traps lying in wait for the unwary, so you need to be really careful. And I have to put my hand on my heart and say that I did have to turn back once because I'd taken a wrong turning. What this is really, I think, is 2 really excellent mini walks made up into one big long walk. You could do a separate waterfalls walk and you could do a Black Mountains walk, and both of them would be really excellent, and then you wouldn't have to bother with that micro nav bit. All that said though, I've had a really excellent day and I'm really glad that I did it. And as for the micro nav, well, we all need the practice, don't we? I'm recommending this. It's a really good walk. All maps and 3D fly-throughs provided by kind permission of Ordnance Survey through their excellent OS online application. Big thanks also to mixkit.co, that's mixkit.co, for background music, and upbeat.io, that's upbeat.io, for sound effects. These videos are intended to show you around the routes I walk, in case you're considering doing them yourself. They are absolutely not intended to be any kind of general hill walking guidance or training. If you need hill walking skills, obtain them in person from a reputable, qualified provider. Please don't attempt these walks unless you have the required levels of fitness, equipment, knowledge and experience. You can find more about me and my background at my website, pwllperambulates.co.uk. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Pwll Perambulates. If you did, please subscribe and share.